back to Better. I'm your host, Cynthia Thompson. I'm here with some college students, and we're talking about the transition from high school to college. And before we went on break, we talked about people that live on campus, some lived at home, some even lived in their own apartments. So tell me, do you all think it's a good idea for high school students? I know today some of them are taking college classes on the campus. Do you think that's a good or a bad thing?
No, I actually think it's a very good experience to have the opportunity to actually take classes while you're in high school. Because not only does it get you prepared to kind of see the expectations the teachers have in college, but it advances you. Because I know I have a friend that took a lot of the classes in high school, so when she got to college, she actually was done in 2 years.
Oh, really?
Yes.
So no more 5-year plans?
No,
Or six?
Because
Maybe not for that student.
But I think anyone that can have that kind of opportunity, I think it's a great thing to do because you only get done faster. So
And I would agree, especially because high school and college are two completely different beasts. I mean, two
Yes.
different systems entirely. Sort of as I had mentioned before, I think there's a fundamental difference in the way things are taught from K through 12 all the way compared to university, college, community college work. There is much more of an emphasis on critical thinking, much more of an emphasis on figuring things out on your own. And I think the earlier you are exposed to it, like David was saying, the better you are equipped to tackle it later on. At least that was one of the challenges that I faced when I started out in my first semester.
So do you think high school is really preparing students for college level work? Or do
In-
they need to do more?
In some respects, yes, but in some respects, there definitely needs to be done. More needs to be done.
And I want to say, to add to his point, where I would really encourage people to take college level courses, because if you're able to get that and you're able to finish your college curriculum within 2 years, and that gives you freedom to do more fun stuff that can add to your education, like studying abroad for maybe a year. And then as you do that, the economy it's becoming more of a global economy. So if you're able to show that you spent a year in Spain, it shows that you're a bigger asset to the company, and so that makes you a more attractive employee. So you can get more job opportunities to that. And to part his point, I feel like college high school does prepare you in terms of how to do the math, how to do the English, but it doesn't train you on skills on how to study, how to manage your time, how to balance your personal life, how to balance working, how to balance going to school. So those are some of the things that I feel high schools can teach better.
What about you, young lady? You've been very, very quiet over there.
Well, I think that I definitely encourage everyone to take any AP classes or any college classes through community colleges that they can. I know that I did. I took probably, I think, 21 credits before I got into college. And not only does it help you finish up faster, but say you have something where you find yourself in a class that's not going so well and you need to drop that class. But now you might be below full time, so now you have some financial ramifications. You may have feel that setback. But I had that cushion, so I had a class that just wasn't working for me. So I dropped it. Talked to my advisor. She's like, "Well, you already have 21, so it's really not a big deal." And I maybe lost like $75 in scholarship money. So it worked out well. And then it also frees you up that if you want to take a little bit of a lighter load, so you can do other stuff like get involved on campus and sports, whatever your thing is, it just gives you that extra time so you can enjoy college while you're there.
David mentioned movies about colleges. Like, I remember Animal House and all the things they did in that movie. And, when you watch those movies, you think that, you're just going to party all the time. Do you think your being in high school prepared you for all the freedom that you had when you went to college?
Absolutely not.
I thought that was going to be the answer.
High school, K through 12 was, 8 to 2, 8 to 3. And then when we got to high school, I'm sure all of us had extracurricular activities that also were in a set time, probably from 2 to 4. So you were looking at a day that was maybe 8 to 4, 8 to 6, and it was set. But it's just not that way in college. Like Simone, she started class at 2 p.m., as a freshman undergrad, which is very atypical. But I started out with those 8 a.m. classes.
Whoa.
So I mean, we are at the same university, but have two completely different schedules, and that fundamental difference makes it very difficult to deal with that freedom.
Let me tell you guys a funny story. When I went off to college, my first year, my parents took me to the school and they helped me with my schedule. My dad put down all my classes start 8 in the morning. When they left, I changed my schedule so I would go to class at 12. So you do have that freedom to kind of make your own schedule and do what you want to do and go where you want to go and make new friends and do things too. So what do you guys think?
About
The freedom that you have.
freedom that you have. That's it's the gift and the curse. Like, you can do whatever you want to do with your freedom, but at the same time, it has consequences.
Oh, yes.
And I guess the worst part about it is that you don't necessarily see the negative consequences immediately. So you might miss a class or two. So, and another thing is, a lot of classes, they don't check attendance in college. But in the syllabus, they might have it written that if you miss 2 or 3 classes, then that automatically drops your letter grade. So you're missing these classes and you think, oh, it's all fine and the professor isn't saying anything, but at the end of the semester, you've already jeopardized your grade. So
I think for me it was a little bit different, not only because when I started college I already had a job, a full-time job. So for me, the freedom that I had in college, I used it more towards my work. So I think for me the experience was a little bit different. I saw it as a benefit because not only you have the downtime that a lot of students really don't do anything, especially in the first year of college. They're looking at, oh, where's that next thing that I can do, or other stuff. I use them more towards my work and try to get a little bit better on it. So.
You know, it's been a while since I've been in school. So can you all tell me, are they addressing the drinking problem that some students have when they go to college? Because a lot of them is the first time they can have a beer or a drink. Are colleges now addressing that when students come there?
At my school, incoming freshmen had to complete a program. It was like an online tutorial kind of went over the laws and went over the exchanges. Like, okay, 1 beer is going to put your BAC up at this level if you're this weight and you're female or male. So, and that was actually, it had to be completed before you graduate. And if you did not complete it, so I had people who were seniors paying freshmen to do their Oglala EDU for them. So they definitely tried to institutionalize it so everyone at least had the basic knowledge of, how is this going to affect me down the line. And but as far as monitoring, things like that, my school, we didn't have like on-campus frat houses or anything like that. So things were a little unmonitored, but I mean, most of the people after your first semester, you kind of get a hang of things. You know what you can do, what you can't do, and it just takes one bad hangover, and you realize like, okay, no, I'm gonna have a Coke next time. Just let's alternate. So, I mean, I did that, so I don't know, but I think they definitely tried to instill that in us, like be responsible.
I know with UNC Charlotte, they're doing some pretty creative things, like in the library on mouse pads and just different visuals all across the library. They put up statistics of how students are making responsible decisions regarding drinking. Are those effective or not? I'm not sure. But the fact that they're going beyond just having these formal classes when you come in and making it very much part of everything that you do as a student, I think at least makes it more visible that there might be a problem out there. Not to fret, there are actually students that are doing it responsibly.
And to add to that, I know they also have like the campus police at UNC Charlotte. They go around giving just informal talks to different students just about alcohol consumption and just the consequences and just how like the right way to consume alcohol, not to go crazy with it. And
What? There's a right way to do it?
yeah, there's a moderate way to consume alcohol.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Just one drink, not 4 or 5.
I mean, it depends on your
words.
weight. I'm lightweight. So
Oh,
I know,
okay.
I know I'm at the borderline. Like, okay, if I say one more, then that's not going to work. But another thing that I think is very important, and like I said, I talked about the program that I was part of. It also paired us with mentors. I really think that it's important to, I don't know if you can institutionalize having each student or a group of students having mentors when they come into upperclassmen mentors, because part of the craziness that comes as being a freshman is you not knowing and just wanting to experiment. But if you have somebody who's seasoned who can tell you like how is everything is going, I think that really helps you. That helps you like scheduling classes. Like, okay, don't schedule a lot of 8 o'clock classes. That's going to hurt you. Just like some of the street knowledge of college. I think that's very important.
Yeah, I do think so. I mean, I go to UNCC, so they pretty much hit every single point that UNCC is hitting. But I do think that the colleges all around the nation, I think, are doing everything that they can to inform the students to drink in a safe manner and be responsible.
I know more and more colleges, they have apartments on campus. Do you think that's a good or bad idea?
I think it's a great idea, just because you come to school to study, of course. So if you're kept closer to that environment, then hopefully it's pushing you in an indirect way to stay on campus and to hit the library up or be closer to your academic buildings. But also it builds that school unity, so that's more so from a social standpoint. It would be nice if everyone could always be on campus and all activities were centered at the university. But of course, certain universities have a different culture, and it's really tough to really get it all the way there. But I know UNC Charlotte's making a strong effort to get it to that point.
I think it can be a little bit controversial. I mean, a lot of the times, yes, it is a really good thing for students to be on campus. But for example, there have been a lot of issues around the university area due to the crime of students being robbed and stuff like that. So I think it plays it's a kind of a tricky thing to do. But I think UNCC is doing a very good job at informing students and educating them on what they need to do. Not walking alone in groups and things like that. So I think the university itself is handling it in a very good manner.
I think that's a really good point that you brought up. I think that it does kind of create a sitting duck situation where I'm going to go into this complex. It's going to be college kids. Their parents probably gave them some money. I can do these things. And I think it's all part of growing as a person as well as growing as a student, because if you don't know how to move and maneuver through the world, you're not always going to live in a nice, well-lit place. You know what I mean? You might have to live on the east side of Charlotte. And if you can't maneuver, then what's your education for? You need to be street and academically smart. So I think that, it is a little controversial and it's hard to maneuver, but I think that you have to just learn and grow as a person, and you can make it, in any situation. I think that's important.
We're going to take a short break. When we come back, I want us to talk about the generations that are going to school now, because you don't just have all 18-year-olds in college class anymore. Okay?
Sounds good.
When you pick up a book and let your imagination break free, you won't believe how much fun it can be. Experience a world of adventure and endless possibilities. Get tangled up in a good book. Explore new worlds. Read.
Does your child have a special need, disability, or diagnosis? Do you need help finding information, resources, and services? Family Support Network of Mecklenburg County offers support and resources for families who have children with special needs. We'll provide you with information that will help educate you about your child's condition. All services are free and confidential. Contact us today. You don't have to go through this journey alone.
I'm a mommy. I love kids. I'm responsible, loving, nurturing. Ow! Just don't break anything! Play nice! No, don't touch that!
Aren't you going to do something?
I could use a little compassion. Stop, stop, stop! Being a parent's a lot of work.
You don't have to be perfect
Where's Mommy?
to be a perfect parent.
Here I am. No, no, stop. Stop.
Welcome back to Better. I'm your host, Cynthia Thompson. I'm here with some college students, and we're talking about the college life, how it's different from high school. And before we went on break, I said we're going to talk about the different generations in the classroom, because now you have 18-year-olds and you have some people, I guess, in their 60s in the classroom too. What does that feel like in a classroom with an older person? Since you all so young.
You make it sound like a bad thing.
So is it a good or bad thing?
I think it's a great thing. Being in a master's program, I see more of that. However, even as an undergrad, what I did find was that the older generation brings something new to the table, always. There's always factors, there's always different variables to a conversation that I would have never thought about, because I don't have that history, I don't have that knowledge that they certainly bring to the table. And you sort of see that from professors in the way they speak, because they might talk about different policies from the 90s or from the 80s, but never all the way down to that student level. And so when you have a student that's that old, but also at your same level, you get some more of that information.
And to add to Par's point, I've noticed that older students tend to make very good study partners too. So I tend to latch on to that, because I guess as if you're a young college student, you might be caught up in the party mood, but when you're older, you appreciate that you need to get what you need to get, so they tend to be a lot more focused. So
one of the great benefits that I see on that is that a lot of the older students bring experience, real work experience. So when you're working in groups, projects and things like that, you can actually pick up on a lot of the experience that they have. So not only are you picking up on the study work, but you also sharing your experiences on the real work that they bring to the table.
Absolutely. I mean, I think it's great. I 100% support continuous education, because my grandfather just got his PhD in divinity, so. And my dad's always working on a master's, so it's a theme in my family. I think that older students, they bring that work experience, but I think sometimes they can sometimes drag you down a little bit. Be careful. If he's like, if he doesn't know what the internet is or how to use Excel, he might not be the best study partner, but he might have a really great house to meet at. So
might have food.
Yes, cookies, milk, yes. So I think there's a good and bad, but I always think that it's really inspiring to see that older people are going back to school, and it's never too late to change, what you're doing with your life and learn more. So I think that's really inspiring.
One quick question, because we're almost out of time. How do you all feel about studying online? Do you think it's a good or bad thing?
It's a mix. I think if you have the character to be one that can keep up with your own work, I think it's a great benefit. But if you actually are one of those students that need the explanation of a teacher, I think you can find it as a challenging. And if you're not a student that can manage your time well, I think you will find it as a very challenging.
Anyone else?
I think if college is true to what it should be, which is really just expanding your horizons, then really I'm not a fan of online, because only the professor is someone talking to you, talking with you, not talking to you, but talking with you, and being able to open up some sort of problem more and more and more, then only that way are you truly getting what you are supposed to be out of college. So I've not taken any online courses, nor do I plan on it.
Yeah, I'm yet to take any online classes, but I've seen certain situations where, for example, I had a sister who she went and got her master's degree, and she already had a family, so it was very convenient for her to be working at the same time getting her master's degree. So I definitely appreciate the need for it, and so.
Yeah, I've taken online classes. I wasn't a fan. I didn't learn anything, and the teacher, didn't keep track of things, and I submitted a paper a month late, and I still got full credit on it. I don't know if I should be admitting this, but so I think that you need to have that FaceTime so they keep track of you, know who you are, and just you feel that sense of, oh my gosh, I need to be here, be present. And I think that when you can just click through something at any time, you're not really gonna feel that motivation to get there and really take what you need out of that online class.
Maybe an incorporation of more, like, I know with technology you can have more conferencing and all that kind of stuff, so that's something that they can incorporate more in online classes.
I want to. I'm sorry.
Go ahead. Oh, well, I was going to say I've had classes that have a mix where you go to classes maybe once a week and then the other part you take stuff online. So that's actually a good thing that could happen as well.
You know, I want to thank you all for joining me today. We had a really great discussion, and I hope my young viewers are watching and listening to everything that you all shared about moving from high school to college, because it is really a big step. And I want to thank each and every one of you for joining me today here at Public Access 21 every Wednesday night at 6 p.m. for A Better You. Thank you, guys.
Thank
you.
you.
Guys did really good. Man, that time went like that, did it not? When she held up that sign 10 minutes, I couldn't believe it.